Agent Power Huddle is a daily jumpstart, giving you all the tools you need to create an amazing real estate career. Led by top experts in the field, you'll learn how to sell more houses in less time while creating the life you want. Welcome to the Agent Power Huddle.
Hey, good morning. Welcome to Agent Power Huddle. I'm Amy Izzo, and I am a realtor and a team leader in the Midwest. I cover the Chicagoland and the Indiana areas. And today we're going to talk about making buyers feel like a VIP. Really, what are the ways that you can, in your conversion strategy, add value to buyers and demonstrate that to them so that they want to flock to you and work with you. And they really want to create some loyalty and stay with you. So that's what I want to talk about today. And I think it's always been really important to make your buyers feel like a VIP from the moment that you start to convert them on your first call, whether we're talking about someone from your SOI or somebody you've been referred to, but especially if we're talking about a stranger, right? A lead that's come in that you've spoken to on the phone that now you need to develop a relationship with. We're effectively, as realtors, taking strangers and converting them into fans of ours, building like and trust with them so that they want to work with us. So what are the ways that we can do that? One thing I've always firmly believed in is that you have to have a consultation process in place for your buyers. If you were going on a listing appointment, you would prepare for a listing appointment. You would minimally have some contracts together. Hopefully you have a few slides, some handouts, a folder, a presentation for your sellers for your listing where you're showing how you add value when you list a property. We should be doing the same thing with buyers. The very same thing with buyers from early on so that we can educate them and give them really what they need. So I'm going to talk about, I have some slides for you. Give me a thumbs up if you can see my slides okay. Awesome. Thanks for that. I appreciate it. So I want to talk about making buyers feel like a VIP. And before I jump too far into this, I'm going to back up and the steps really when you talk, I'm going to make this about a referral or a lead, someone that doesn't know you very well, whether they're referred to you or they've come in through your website or a lead that you purchased. I want to think about that person. And I want to talk quickly about the call to them to set up the consultation. So initially, when those leads come in, leads are people. That's a person that's come into you that is seeking something. So maybe I had one come into my website yesterday. They are returning. They've been shopping for a little while and they're returning. And so I could see that they had returned to look at a property a few times. So I was able to reach out to them and talk to them a little bit about that property. On those calls, before I dial that number, I look. So I'm hoping that you're using a CRM, but I look at my CRM to see what are the properties that they've looked at? What is the area that they're searching in? So that when I call them, I've done the appropriate preparation for the call. That way, the call is really about, hey, it's Amy. I'm calling about your home search in Crown Point. I want to check and see how it's going. I noticed this home at 123 Main Street. It's the one they've been clicking on, right? That may be a fit for your needs. Wanted to start to talk a little bit about that, right? And start that dialogue. A lot of times your buyers don't have a lot of time on the phone for conversation, depending on when you're calling. Or even if they do have time and you gather some information, I always want that next step to be a face-to-face, whether that's on Zoom. I do a lot of these on Zoom or in person. So really preparing for the initial call so they know that you're a realtor in their area that they're searching in. I always say I'm the realtor in the area they're searching in. So, and I use the area. So, if they're searching in my area, there's a town, Crown Point, Indiana. I'll say it's Amy. I'm calling from Crown Point, Indiana. I'm calling about your Crown Point, Indiana home search, so that they connect. I cover that area, right? So they connect that I'm a realtor in that area. So once you've made that connection and you have some dialogue going, now it's time where they're ready to meet with you, right? They're ready to do a consult. And I really think every time you want to do a consult, benefits of having a VIP buyer process and program in place and really doing these consults on Zoom or in person, both are face-to-face, and I think they're really important, is to build a relationship. It gives you an opportunity to build additional rapport besides what you build on any phone calls or through text messages, videos, emails, whatever your touches have been prior. Now that they're kind of ready to start to look, ready to get engaged, it's an opportunity to build that relationship a little bit deeper, a layer deeper. It's an opportunity to learn more than you've already learned about your buyer's wants, needs, expectations, and if they bought before or haven't, they've shopped before. I'm meeting a lot of buyers that have never bought, so they say the words, I'm a first-time home buyer, but they have shopped before unsuccessfully. So their past experiences are really, really important. Uncovering, it's an opportunity when you meet with them face-to-face and really talk and ask great questions. It's an opportunity to uncover their limiting beliefs, right? Or their worries or their fears. What are buyers telling us right now? I'm worried about interest rates. Wow, I'm worried if I can afford a home. I hear affordability is tough, right? I'm waiting for the market to crash. I'm still hearing that. I'm waiting for the prices to come down significantly. I'm still hearing that. So what are the limiting beliefs? I think my credit score isn't very good. I'm hearing that a lot from people that have a 620, 630 score. We can buy at a 620 or 630 score, right? We can also help them with that score in a lot of cases. I'm hearing that from people with a 680 score. I don't know if I'm ready. I don't know if I have enough money in the bank or my credit's good enough. Well, let's talk about what that is. It's also an opportunity when you get belly to belly, face to face with someone. It's an opportunity to educate them and set expectations around their wants, their needs, their expectations, their past experiences, and their limiting beliefs. So this upfront conversation that you're having with them about those areas help you to position the next portion of the conversation. One thing I think that's important for realtors to develop is conversational consultations, where I know I've got a checklist of questions. Maybe I even have a form. That's okay. I know what information I want to gather, but I'm going to gather it through a natural conversation that involves me asking you some questions as the buyer, you telling me, answering those questions, and I listen so that I know where to go next. I am not necessarily following a script in order. First I ask this, and then I ask this, and then I ask that. I'm getting all of the information. I may even use my document to help me, right? When I'm learning this skill set to make sure I don't miss anything, but I'm gathering it based on what the other person is saying to me. So if early on, I ask them about what they're looking for in a home and they start to talk about interest rates, that's a fear, that's a limiting belief, that's something that I'm going to address now, right? And then get them back into dreaming about their home, right? So set yourself up also in these in-person moments as the expert. But you're the expert around their wants, their needs, their expectations, their limiting beliefs, right? So it's in the order that they need it. And I will tell you that I still talk to realtors. I coach realtors nationally. I talk to realtors every day. People are not doing this. There's not enough of us doing this. As many as raise their hand and say they're doing this, there's not enough of us doing this. And those of us that are doing it are not necessarily always doing it in a calculated, strategic way. This is a strategy to make your buyers feel special. I heard somebody recently say, MMFI, make me feel important, right? Really make me feel important. This is an opportunity to make your buyers feel important. Here's what I hear from realtors when I go over this. Oh, Amy, but if I meet them in person, in my office or at the coffee shop or wherever I meet them, I spend an hour and a half with them. What if they don't buy? Well, what if they do buy, right? It's a relationship that you're developing. I have done consults where people didn't go with me for whatever reason. And a lot of times they came back later, right? Sometimes they didn't. And maybe you do have a consult where you just don't connect. But I will tell you this, the majority of the time when you do this and you talk about having a VIP buyer process and program and the things that you offer to your buyers, and then you meet them in person, you meet them where they are, and you walk them through the process and offer them your knowledge and information, I will tell you, most of the time they are going to work with you and do business with you eventually, right? When they're ready. So you want to make your buyers feel really, really special. And this is a process that'll do that. So 6-step process, complimentary buyer VIP consultation, right? Complimentary, right? I tell everybody I talk to on the phone, the next, after that initial kind of conversation, even if I introduce them already to the lender, the next step is for us to have a complimentary deep dive consultation. I'd love to meet with you in person, and usually I want to meet with them in the area that they're shopping. Oh, you're shopping in the Crown Point, Indiana area? Great. I don't care. My office is in Maryville. I don't care. Which is not close, 20 minutes away. So I don't care. I'll meet them at a coffee shop in the area that they're looking. I'm the realtor for that area. Let's get in a neutral place in the area that they're looking. Let's not make them travel. And I come prepared to have this consultation with them. So the next step is let's meet in the Crown Point area. We can talk a little bit about that area while we're there. Here's where we can meet, and let's sit down and do a deep dive. And really, it's a complimentary consultation. I can give you lots of more information than I did on the phone, and we can learn more about what you're looking for. Step 2, sometimes I will tell you that you have a really great call prior to setting up your consult, and they're ready to get pre-approved. If someone tells me, well, I need to get pre-approved, or what's my next step? And I say, well, we need to do a consult, but we're also going to need financing. Do you want to let's get you ahead of the financing. If they say yes, I do an introduction to the lender after that first call. So like a text introduction. I ask them if they text. If not, I get on the phone with everybody and I do an introduction where it's a warm handoff to the lender so that they do connect, right? They do connect. And I make sure that if it's a text, I'm on that thread. That way I can see what's happening. If they don't respond right away, they don't fill out their app right away, so that I can follow up on the back end and see what's going on. And I can help make that connection to the lender. But I want to introduce them to somebody on my team. So if that can happen before the formal consult, let's let it happen. But assume it doesn't. In your consult, you want to make that introduction. So as a part of your consult, step 2 can happen during your consult. As you move them through the consultative process and you're talking to them, financing will come up. They will bring it up. You should bring it up. And that is something I would minimally do the intro, the warm intro. Get your lender on the phone. I let my lenders know when I'm going to be having consults. Hey, I may call you between 10 and 11, right? If you can try to be available, or I'll send you a text if you could call me back. We'll do a 5-minute intro. I won't keep you long, right? And I'll at least introduce them and set up a time for them to talk separately. How I position it to my buyers is, hey, your finances are your personal business. You may not want me deep in that, and that's okay. This is a third party that we can trust that can dive deep with your finances, put your pre-approval together, and then keep all of your details private, even from me, right? And then I can come back together knowing what your pre-approval looks like and help you match homes to that financial scenario and that loan type, right? Something I tell buyers all the time is not every home qualifies for every loan, right? Is every home on the planet able to be bought FHA? No. So that's why I say that, right? And that's the example I give them. So the financing is super important, not only for affordability, but so I can help them match homes to their scenario, both budgetary and from a loan type perspective. Next step, setting up their custom home search and shopping. Now, I realize a lot of times people are on a home search before the consult, because depending on what happens with your lead, when it comes in, if you're using a CRM, they may be shopping on your website already, and that's okay. But based on what I learn in the consult, in the conversation, I either, if they're not at a home search, say the next step is let's set you up on a home search, and I let them see me do that. Open up the laptop, get online, get a hotspot on your phone, folks. If you don't have one, you don't have to rely on the Wi-Fi of wherever you are. And I let them see me do that. But I show it to them. And maybe I'll even point out some homes, right? I'm getting ready for this consult ahead of time. So I may even point out some homes to them. But the other thing that I like to do is if they already have a home search, I like to say, well, based on what you told me, we've got you on this big wide search. Put everybody on big wide searches. I don't know their budget. I don't know what they're literally looking for. I haven't really dove deep with them. Put them all on really wide searches early on, especially if we're texting and they're like, oh, I had one yesterday. I'm just looking for a home in Valparaiso, Indiana. Great. Do you have a budget in mind? I'm not really sure. I just know I want 2 or 3 bedrooms. Wonderful. I'm sending them everything from $100,000, which there's almost nothing, to $400,000, right? A big, wide search. So now when I get them converted to a consult, I will adjust their home search. So based on what you told me, here's what we talked about. Here's what we're going to do, right? So that they have a better search coming to them. Market knowledge gets you the best value. Know your market. Know the numbers. How many are homes selling in your market? How many in the last 30 days? How many in the last week? What's the average days on market? Even if this isn't a listing, if you can speak to right now, homes in my area are sitting in the market for 62 days on average. What's the benefit of that to the buyer, right? Ability to negotiate, ability to get closing cost credits, right? What's better right now, a price reduction or a closing cost credit, and why? How can that closing cost credit be used? That is information that when you offer it conversationally as a part of the conversation is going to set you apart from anybody else that they talk to or anything else that they read. It's just going to, I don't care if you're on Zoom or if you're in person. And if they don't ask the right questions to allow me to share information like price reduction or closing cost credit, I will say something like, hey, do you mind if I offer you some knowledge about what works in the offer process or what helps in the offer process, what helps save you money, right, along the way? Oh, yeah, great. And now I can go into a conversation about, well, when you're making offers, blah, 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 and tie it back to the financing conversation that we already had, right? So if you are a part of a team or you have a team, unique team approach, even if you're not, I always call my lenders, the appraisers I work with, my home inspectors, my team. They are, right? I have a team of 2 or 3 lenders that I've worked with for years that I can speak to exactly their character, their customer service, their knowledge. I have a team of home inspectors. I have several appraisers I work with. I always talk about we have a unique team approach. We work together as a team. And I practice in 2 states. In one of my states, I have attorneys. So I can talk about that. Talk about the title company relationships. By the way, in most states, your buyers can choose their title company. They don't have to go with the seller's title company. I negotiate that into my offers all the time. So I talk about that, right? And those team members that I have available so that when a buyer comes to me, they know they're getting a one-stop shop, right? If you choose to partner with me and we are loyal to each other and work together, what you're getting is a one-stop shop. You're getting a team that is working for you. You're not just getting me. Talk about your transaction coordinators if you have that, right? That is a value add, right? Talk about communication, the way in which you communicate. I always ask people how they like to be communicated to. And then I'm going to do that, of course, but then I always give them my communication guarantee. Do you know how many people love that? It's true. I follow it, but all it is a statement that I then have to uphold. But it's just a statement that I'm offering voluntarily because what's one of the top things we hear from people when they've worked with realtors before? They didn't call me back. They didn't communicate. They weren't fast enough. Maybe that realtor did call him back and maybe they were fast enough, but the person didn't understand. They didn't think of that realtor as a human with maybe, I don't know, children and time to eat and sleep and work out and, see other clients. They didn't think about that. They just thought they didn't call me back in 5 minutes or an hour. Other times they may have had a situation where people just didn't call them for a long time. So I always set that expectation here, tied to how they like to communicate, how I'm going to communicate with them, what that responsiveness is going to look like for me. Key is whatever you say, you got to do. Okay. VIP buyer benefits as well. Okay. That's last 6. And I'm going to go over that more in detail. So consult. I kind of went through some of this on the last slide, but this is just a recap. And I'll make sure this The slides to this get tied to the replay of this so that everybody can have these if you would like these slides. I also have a script I'm going to show you, a consult script that's pretty detailed. So you'll just take from it. Anything I give you, really what I want you to do is use it. If you're new to this, I want you to just take it and use it. The steps are important, but you're going to put it a little bit through your filter too. If you've done this before on a high level or on a mid-level even, then you're like, oh, I like pieces of this. Take the pieces you like and make it your own, right? Take this, put it through your filter and make it your own. But I think the steps are really important to have in place to not to miss any steps. So just to recap, consultation is just time to learn their wants and needs, answers to all their burning questions. This is to get, the next step is pre-approval, getting them into pre-approval. I do that warm introduction during the consult. I tell them my home search is a VIP home hunter system, right? So what does that mean? Well, yes, the market is still hot. Yes, I know there's more days on market, but at least where I'm at and most people I'm talking to, we have less buyers, but we still have more buyers in inventory, right? So a home that is priced right, even with days on market, is going to sell, right, in a reasonable amount of time. And so, and there's also not a ton of homes. There's a lot of homes, but there's still not enough homes, right? As many as we have, we still always have enough, or we may not have the right homes. So I always tell them about how I can find them within the MLS, but I also have relationships with agents locally. I have relationships with wholesalers. I have relationships with investors, and I can also help them through those areas find homes that are off market. And I do pretty often. So our VIP home hunter system, you can call it what you want to call it. Leverage the market. Leveraging my market knowledge helps them get the best price, some of their closing costs paid, helps them get the best negotiations on repairs or upgrades or any other terms of the contract. And I already talked about team for you. So before the buyer consultation, set the appointment in Zoom or in person. I have a getting to know you checklist that I send the buyers and ask them to fill out. If they don't fill it out ahead of time and it's an in-person, depending on where we're meeting, I always want to offer them a beverage. So if you're doing it in your office, offer them a beverage while they're filling it out, right? If you're doing it at a coffee shop, go buy them a coffee while they're filling it out, right? If it's on Zoom, ask them about it, right? And if they didn't have a chance, fill it out with them. So it's just a one-sheeter. It's getting to know them. Basic information, question about what are their 5 top things that they like to have in a home. And then things like, just first names of kids and ages and pets, if they're comfortable sharing that. Just want to get to know them. What's their favorite snack? What's their favorite band? Things like that. I'm just getting to know them. Why? Because I'm going to do things with that information later on, right? In the relationship. They don't necessarily know that, but, think about, if they have a pet and I bring some treats for their pet, right? On the next time we meet, or they have kids and they're going to bring them on showings. So I bring a check, depending on the ages of the kids, I bring a little checklist for the kids so that they could be writing down what they like about the home, right? I'm going to do something special. Maybe it's just that I'm going to connect with them afterwards on social media and kind of follow them and put some cards in the mail that are personalized to them, to their family members. Going to send them an acknowledgement when their kids have, when they announce on social media their kids have a birthday. Or if they tell me the birthday, I'm going to do it proactively. Or when, my daughter just made National Honor Society, so maybe I'll send them a card for something like that. Your child just achieved something. And then I always send a little introduction video before the buyer consultation. Even though I talk to them on the phone, I always send the little video before the consult. Just, hey, it's Amy. I'm just confirming that we're meeting on December 13th at 10 a.m. We're going to meet at the Starbucks in Maryville. I'm so excited. I'm sending you this getting to know you checklist. If you have a chance, fill that out. Let's bring it with you. And then we'll take care of everything else when we're together. Can't wait to see you. That's it. So, and if there was anything else I needed to recap, I would recap that. So I like to use videos to remind them. Also, I remind them the day before. Send them a video, text it to them, and email it to them, and call them. All 3. I call, text, email everybody. Always have. My whole 10-year career. Sell about 100 homes a year, just me. Right? So I always do that. Call, text, email. It works. Buyer consult. Create a packet of information to walk your buyers through all 6 steps. Right? I use Breakthrough Broker. I have one now that's more custom, but Breakthrough Broker is free. Go and use it. If you're with EXP, you get a personalized version of this through your marketplace, your marketing center rather, through your marketing center. I'm sure other brokerages are great and have these available as well. But if you just feel like you have nothing, breakthroughbroker.com, you can go on there for free. You can download and you can create custom presentations for buyers, for sellers, for open houses. You can create custom marketing materials. Once you set up your profile, it'll just drop it in to any of the templates that they have. You can download those. You don't have to pay for printing through that. You can download those and print them. You can have them on your MacBook if you use that, or an iPad, and you can have a copy for your buyer, put it in a nice folder. I have nice folders with my brokerage information on it. Hey, I'm going to tell you, when I was a new agent with zero money and no folders for my brokerage, I just went to Walmart and bought like 25-cent folders at the, usually they're probably 50 cents now, but cheap folders. They were solid school folders. Like I bought my kindergartners, right, with just solid colors, picked out a bunch of colors that Amy liked, and I put my materials in there. I didn't even put a sticker on it, just my business card and my materials in there. And just doing that set me apart. People were like, well, this is great. Now I reinvest in my business. I have some pretty folders from my brokerage. So just have something prepared that you can go through these steps and things with them. We talked about the financing conversation. If you can have the lender partner on the call, do it. But gauge it based on how you set up the consult and if it's appropriate. If not, at least do the handoff. I have on some of my calls to set up these consults, I have had such a great conversation that I said to them, I have a great idea. Why don't I have my financing partner at our meeting on our Zoom call? Because then you can get an immediate pre-approval. And you got to gauge it by how your conversation on the phone. But a lot of times it works. And do we always have an immediate pre-approval? No. Sometimes, they need a little bit of time, or the lender needs a little bit of time. And so we just talk through that on the call. But then they'll get one pretty quickly. Although I do say it's the least favorable, I will say pretty often we're doing pre-approval as a part of the consult that I have. I talked about the custom home search. When I show them the home search, I just confirm the access that they have. I confirm what I see them searching. If they're unsure, I set them on a wide search. If they're more sure after a conversation about what they want, I put them on a more customized search. So it just depends on how that conversation went in our consult. I always talk about also, usually people want to understand the process. Breakthrough Broker has a great one-sheeter that you can personalize that takes them through the whole process. And especially your first-time home buyers, part of your consult, they want to talk about what's that process going to be like. So one of the things I talk about is writing the offer. And I tell them, listen, we'll talk about a lot today. I'll give you glimpses of some of the things that are down the road. And you can always ask me questions and we'll talk about it again throughout the process. But showing them, telling them about the writing the offer, leveraging your team. And then things you can do when you do for them. These are just ideas for you, but things you can do for them when you do get them out shopping is have house hunting checklists available to them. If they're bringing their kids, have things for the kids. If it's hot weather, I carry, a bottle of water in my car. What else can you do? Can you have snacks? I always ask parents if children can have snacks. I don't just give them to them, things like that. But I try to do things. I kind of think I'm certainly not a Lyft or Uber driver. We are way more, we are not that. I'm not saying that when I say this, but I love it when I go and get in my Uber and they have something to drink for me, or they have, snacks, even if I don't want them, right? They just have them. They have a charger available for me. It's concierge level service. When I go to a hotel and I just went to a hotel recently and they gave me a little rose and a bear. They didn't have to do that, right? It was just something that they chose to do. It was just something a little extra, concierge type service. What kind of concierge type service can you do during your consult? Can you do on your showings, things like that? Now, I like to have a VIP buyer program in place for my buyers, and I like to talk about that. Now, you've got to gauge this based on based on price point and affordability and what your brokerage or your team is willing to do. But I do talk to them about the fact that we negotiate upfront discounts with our partners. So I have contractors, home inspectors, insurance professionals, even lenders. I've pre-negotiated with my lenders that they'll offer a closing cost credit to our clients. I'm allowed to say for certain price points up to $1,000. And so my lenders do that naturally for me. All I did was have the conversation. Hey, what can I tell people when I'm talking with them about closing cost credit? What's safe, so that regardless of price point, especially if it's a lower price point, it's something that you can achieve. And so I do tell them that we have put those things in place to save them money along the way. It's not only give them really great service, but save them money along the way. I do like to provide a complimentary home warranty. Now, sometimes I'm negotiating that into their offer and getting seller to pay for it. Other times we will pay for it as a team. So just because I say it's complimentary doesn't mean it has to come out of my pocket necessarily. Sometimes it does. But getting the seller to pay for it, it's complimentary to them. So I like to tell them that we're going to take steps to get them a complimentary home warranty and explain what that home warranty program looks like up front. And then one unique selling proposition that you can use is called the Love It or Leave It program. And if you do this, you make a certificate that has a written guarantee. If for any reason the buyer decides they want to sell their home within the first 12 months because they just don't love it, right? They want to leave it, we'll sell it and we waive the listing side of the commission for them, right? Now, what's the fine print on that? They got to buy with us. So we're going to get the buyer side of the commission. They got to pay the buyer's agent a commission, right? Now, we're going to negotiate that with them. But yes, it's something we want to talk about right away. But if they buy the home and they don't love it, they don't like their neighbor, they're unsure, we will get it on the market for them and we will sell it for them and we will not charge them a listing commission. I've only had to do that a couple of times. So in my whole career. And it was fine because we took care of the buyer's agent and they bought with me. So it's a really good USP, unique selling proposition that you can use as a buyer's agent. Now, if you're on a team or with a brokerage, I want you to check with your brokerage on those things. So the last thing I'm not going to spend time on, but I'll just because I want to respect everybody's time and I know I'm running a little bit over. Let me see. It doesn't want to let me change. I have a buyer consult script. I don't know if my screen changed. Did my screen change? I have a buyer consult script that I'll just attach with this, guys. Sorry, my Zoom is acting up. But I'll attach with this so that you can all just have some of the questions that I utilize and then I ask throughout the process. I want you to have some of those questions in place as well. So I will put that along with this presentation in the replay. And I hope this was helpful. There's so much more I could say about it, but I only have 30 minutes. So I hope this was helpful. Let me know in the chat or message me on Facebook if this was helpful. If you want to go deeper on the actual consult, the questions, the scripting, the after process, all of that, the follow-up, let me know and I can do that on another Agent Power Huddle. Have a great, great, great day. Take care.
If you'd like more information or to get connected to the Agent Power Huddle, join our free Facebook group. This call was designed for the agents in our EXP organization, but open to any agent from any brokerage. If you're a guest and you're interested in learning more about EXP or our specific resources within the Agent Collective, reach out to the person who invited you to this call to get more info. Produced by the Agent Collective Media Network.